Astute viewers of Rebel News are no doubt aware that Toronto has endured major problems in recent years regarding its public parks. And by that, I don't mean the swings and teeter-totters aren't functioning properly. Rather, several parks were taken over by homeless people, some of whom are criminals, some of whom are drug addicts, some of whom are mentally ill, some of whom are violent, and at least one of whom was the owner of a vicious, dangerous dog. Yeah, I know. What could possibly go wrong?
Right to smash that.
Hey.
Don't do that. By law, I have the right to smash that.
You have the right to smash that camera by law?
Yeah, by law, you know I have to smash that camera.
What law are you quoting?
Thankfully, in the summer of 2021, the City of Toronto and the Toronto Police Department finally did the right thing and began enforcing the Trespass Act by removing these campers. And that's the thing. Everyone has the right to enjoy a park, but you don't get to stay overnight for months on end. You don't get to defecate and urinate on the lawns. You don't have the right to do drugs. You don't have the right to turn the playgrounds into no-go zones. You don't have the right to harass and intimidate mothers and fathers and children visiting the park. But that was exactly what was being tolerated in Hogtown, and it was shameful. But almost 2 years after Toronto's finest cleared a handful of parks comes a report from the City of Toronto's Ombudsman. Alas and alack, it appears that even the Ombudsman's office has gone hopelessly woke. You see, Toronto Ombudsman Kwame Addo said the police showed, quote, significant unfairness, end quote, when it cleared homeless encampments in the summer of 2021. He also said the police chose to act quickly despite there being no urgency to do so. Oh, really? No urgency? Tell that to the mothers bringing their tots to the playground at Trinity Bellwoods only to find used syringes and condoms there. Indeed, Trinity Bellwoods is a gem of a park in downtown Toronto. Well, sometimes. But until the homeless encampment there was cleared, Trinity Bellwoods was a danger zone. And yes, we have the video evidence. Check out what happened to me when Lincoln J and I visited Trinity Bellwoods to produce a report. Now, keep in mind, we were not there to interview homeless people. Rather, the encampment was a backdrop for the opening of our report. And then this happened.
This is really rich. There are people here breaking the Trespass Act.
Please move. I don't like myself being filmed. You don't have the right to actually smash that camera right now.
I wouldn't do that.
I have the right to smash that.
Hey. Don't do that.
By law, I have the right to smash that.
You have the right to smash that camera by law?
Yeah, by law, you know I have to smash that camera.
What law are you quoting? Yes, please, sir.
Get over here.
You know, I wonder if that dog's fangs had sunk into the thigh of Mr. Addo, if that would maybe make him reconsider his condemnation of how the city and the police treated these squatters. Oh, by the way, at that very same park, at the very same time, check out how law-abiding citizens were being treated. They had to stay within spray-painted circles or face a fine of $880. No, folks, I'm not making this up. Folks, I've returned to the scene of Toronto's Day of Infamy. You may recall last Saturday, about 10,000 people crammed into little Trinity Bellwoods Park. And, well, needless to say, the elected officials, they lost their marbles over this. The likes of Premier Doug Ford and John Tory. You know, the same elected officials who break all the COVID-19 protocol they say that we should be following. Well, anyways, we're not going to have a Wuhan virus repeat this weekend, because what happened several hours ago, folks, is that city workers painted some 400 circles, and basically you are supposed to remain in your circle
to maintain proper social distancing. And if you don't maintain proper social distancing, you will be fined.
Nevertheless, Addo's investigation points to numerous problems in terms of how the police cleared the encampments. This includes the city treating the clearings as a, quote, top priority, end quote, choosing expediency and enforcement despite there being no evidence to suggest the encampments were an emergency requiring an urgent response. Unbelievable. Addo is clearly delusional. What was happening in Toronto's parks was clearly an emergency requiring an urgent response. Too many parks had been handed over to dangerous thugs that summer. Indeed, we were there when Dufferin Grove Park was cleaned up. The happy campers there even took over the park's washroom facility. And if you knew what was good for you, then you stayed clear of these homeless folk and their unhinged social justice warrior allies. Here, check it out.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm just reading your breast. What does that say exactly?
It says no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
It's not on behalf of anybody else.
It's not necessarily helping the situation because this is what they're here to do is instigate. They can't use any of this footage anymore.
Did I trigger you?
Get out of here. Get out. Get out. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. Get the f*** out of my face.
You have white skin. You're always occupying every f***ing space in this.
Because you're a coward. Because you're a coward. Because you don't want to answer our questions.
You're in my face.
Excuse me?
It's extremely offensive. You are the reason people are out here.
What the f*** is wrong with you?
Yikes. Now, if some of those mugs look a little familiar, that's because earlier that summer, they literally took over Nathan Phillips Square. Hogtown's spineless mayor at the time, John Tory, actually allowed the town square to be taken over by violent creeps right at the height of tourist season. Check it out.
We're going to go there. David's going to try and do journalism. Ideally, we're done in half an hour because nothing happened.
Any people here now?
What would you like us to do?
Off my land. That's what I would like.
We've got another gender.
Touch my f***ing elder.
Your elder?
What you're doing is causing a disturbance with everybody here. I need to ask you to leave, okay?
What have I done to
You're causing disturbance.
Come on!
That in Toronto, the town square is a place where a journalist can go peacefully. So if that is not true, we need to know.
In any event, Addo says the city was aware people living in the parks had complex mental health needs, yet, quote, failed to include plans to address those needs. Encampments and supporting the people living in them are complex, but the city owes a particularly high duty of fairness to these residents, end quote. Oh, really? So maybe it was indeed a big mistake to mothball mental health institutions some half-century ago. Maybe for their protection and ours, those suffering from mental health issues need to be institutionalized. Oh, but what do you want to bet that Addo and his acolytes would find that solution to be cruel and unfair as well? In the final analysis, the City of Toronto and its police department deserve praise for addressing a long overdue problem. Parks are places for people, as in law-abiding people. They are not meant to be drug dens and open toilets. They are not meant to be encampments for dangerous people and even dangerous animals. Addo's woefully woke report is garbage. Hopefully the city ignores its nonsensical findings so that the parks in Toronto during this upcoming summer of 23 will be pleasant places to visit as opposed to no-go zones fraught with filth and violence. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.
You know we love to bring you the other side of the story, but we need your help. If you can help fund our journalism, please go to rebelinvestigates.com. That's rebelinvestigates.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation. Thank you.